Decision Diaries.
Welcome to Decision Diaries. Today on Decision Diaries, we are going to talk about participating in a high school pageant. Now, I know we have some international listeners, and we may have some people who maybe don't know what all is involved with being in a high school pageant or what this is all about. So, basically, every public and private high school within the United States has this sort of competition that the girls can participate in, where all the clubs within the school, and even they have some open spots for people who are not members of clubs, usually about 2 or 3, a member at large, they call them open spots, can represent the clubs and their school in a competition, which then if they win, I guess they go on to represent their high school at, I guess, a state competition. I wouldn't know because I personally lost. So I didn't even place. So I don't know what happens after you win. But what's even more interesting is that within these high school pageants, in the past, in 1987, when I participated, you could pick an escort to either do an opening dance number with you or, walk you as you were modeling. And I picked Reed Wingate, and now his daughter, Renee, has just found out that a club wanted her to represent them, and she has decided to participate in Ms. Fletcher. And I know your dad was very proud because he called me and said, do you have the old videos of our 1987 Ms. Fletcher? Because I want to show my daughter. So welcome Renee Wingate and her mom, Denise Wingate. Welcome to Decision Diaries.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
So this is all very exciting. And so I want to start with, as we're kind of telling people how this worked, how did you find out that you were being nominated, or did they do a vote? Every club kind of does it different. And which club are you representing?
I'm representing Beach's Book Club, and 2 of my friends wanted me to do it. And so I decided I should do it. I really wanted to do it anyway. I wasn't really voted. I just did it. So I just had to get someone to sign it for me.
Oh, okay. So you were able to just kind of submit that you were interested, and then obviously you were one of them, right? There might not have been anybody else that wanted to be in it, or there is just one representative, right?
Yeah, just me.
Okay. All right. And Mom, how'd you feel? Did she tell you she was going to do that?
Well, I'll have to tell you, probably, I'm going to say back like in September, she came to me. She said, hey, when she had joined Beach's Book Club, she says, hey, I'm really, thinking or considering participating in Miss Fletcher. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was like, what? What? Because honestly, let's just put it out there. We have no pageant background. We are newbies. Right. We've never done this before. I say we because we're the team. Never done this before. She's never, and I was like, okay, well then honestly, I kind of in my mind blew it off. I'm like, nah, and then she came to me again and said, hey, I really, I've been discussing it with the members and the officers in the club, and they really would like me to do it. And I was like, when we sat and talked about, because it's a big commitment, it's a huge commitment. And I said, okay, well, we really, again, need to think about it. And then when the time came, she's like, I'm really fired up. I'm really excited and I want to do it. And I said, okay, if you want to do it, we've talked about it. You've thought about it. We've thought about it. Then we're 100% behind you. So here we are.
Well, that is one of the things I want to tell people that I feel is very positive about high school pageant is that most people that participate in high school pageants don't have any pageant background. And then the other thing is because of the variety of clubs that it can be band, it can be chess club, Spanish club, cheerleading, it really is a great combination of all these different people with all these different perspectives. And then, it's not all extroverts. It's some introverted people that have gone to their parents to say, I'm interested. And the parents are kind of like, really? So I remember back in 1987, when I was thinking about it as well. I really wasn't actually thinking about it. My girlfriend, Angela, was really pressing me. And you kind of mentioned that your friends were saying you need to do this. So my friend Angela Dean, a little shout out to her. She was going around to all the clubs putting my name out there. So I represented senior men. I don't know if that club's around anymore. Right. But it was really kind of funny that my parents kind of laughed. Of course, you were going to be represented by senior men. So I don't know. I dated a lot, Renee. So that's the joke there from my parents. So, so anyways, and then of course there is the member at large category. So if you wouldn't have represented the Beaches Club, could have always just kind of walked onto that. And so you're representing the Beaches book club, which by the way, they did not have that back in 1987. That is completely awesome. What about your friends? Did your friends find a club?
My friends are seniors, so they didn't do it last year, but they really wanted me to do it this year.
Well, since 2020, I'm just happy that everybody's participating in anything that's offered at the school. I told my younger son after 2020, because his older brother was a 2020 grad, I said, if there's something at the school, you need to participate in it, or you may never see it again. So I'm glad Miss Fletcher is continuing. So what is the actual date this year?
March 1st.
Ooh, so we're kind of close. All right.
The whole process started back October, November, actually October, because honestly, we've been talking about it since September, but the nominations and all and the official letter came out in November like that. And there are no more candidates at large.
You have to be in a club.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And right now there's 40 clubs at the school, but I believe
23 girls.
23 girls participating. So not everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No more candidates.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So 40 clubs, and you said 23. I think 23 is what we had back in 1987. I have to keep dating myself because I have to keep reminding myself, God, 87. That was like, wow, that's a long time ago. So that is interesting to me that they got rid of the member at large. But I guess with 40 clubs, everybody's kind of well represented and probably could have found something if they really wanted to do it. So you talk about the prep starting, and what are the actual events now as part of the pageant? Are they still the same? I'm interested to hear what are all the components of the pageant now, and then we can kind of talk about the prep work you've done.
There's no sportswear anymore.
Oh.
And yeah, I think they stopped that after COVID for some reason. I don't know why. And then there's still the interview portion, the opening number, the talent, and the modeling portion.
And the modeling portion, you're in your formal gown?
Yes.
Is there a photogenic portion?
Yes. I actually have my photo next week on Wednesday.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. That was going to be one of my questions is, are they just having people, use their phones these days, or are you going to a professional photographer?
Yes. I think it's at the school.
It's at school, and it's the caddy.com who does all the senior pictures, all the school pictures for, for the yearbook, everything. So that it's them. It is professional portrait. And the portraits then, once they're, done, they get hung up in the, there's in the hallway. And
oh, wow. Well, they have really made this nice and formal. You got a letter, you get your picture up in the hallway. I just want to say, I never got a letter. I never got a picture up. I don't remember a picture up in the hallway. And, but I am glad that they are keeping professional photography because, these kids are so good at taking pictures of themselves and putting good filters on them that it's kind of nice that you still have that formal studio picture taking. Just to let everybody know, I sent over the videos that I transferred from VHS tape to MP3 files to their dad. And then he shared it with them. And I don't know if you saw the sportswear that I wore. That was slightly embarrassing, but those shoulder pads were off the chain and it was stripes on stripes. And my mom had picked out my outfit. Actually, my mom had picked out all of my outfits. My mom's felt like she was more stylish than me. I think that's probably true. She was more stylish than me. So Denise, are you picking things out? Is Renee picking things out? What are you guys doing kind of working together on that?
Yeah, so I think it's definitely mutual, but it's funny because like stuff I pick out, she automatically goes no, and then we're like BFFs, right? But when it comes to like taste and all, we do have to meet in the middle because she'll pick out one thing and I'm like, and we'll pick out, and I'm like, no. So we do meet in the middle, and she has to have like the interview outfit. She has to have. They do a big luncheon also. There's another outfit. So yeah, we're just like beginning the process of that. But I also think when we do agree, it's like when
Yeah.
She listens to my advice for the most part, but there are times. But yeah, you can tell what we've already. I don't know.
We've got my dress already.
Oh, the formal dress?
Yes.
Okay, that's a big one.
Yeah. We started early with that one. Just
tell her why. Because it's they don't want to they don't want to duplicate the colors, in the pageant or the styles. So we started early, and honestly, again, like I said, we're very new to this, and I made the appointment. We went last weekend, as a matter of fact, and I made the appointment like a month and a half ago, and I'm texting the dress place, and I'm like, are we sure this isn't too early? And she's like, no. And then when we went last week, she'd already had been in contact like with 3 Fletcher girls so it's a big, and it's really nice because they write down so you don't duplicate your color. If the girls in the pageant go to that spot, if there's a very popular dress shop here that a lot of the pageant girls go to, and not from just our school, but from a lot of the area schools. It seems to be the place to go. And the nice part is they write down, okay, Renee has this color, so we want to kind of make sure that this other contestant doesn't get, if she gets that color, maybe it's a different shade, or we just steer her away from whatever. So yeah, so that it's a lot. It's very detailed.
Wow, they never did that before in the past. I don't think we duplicated the colors. When you guys watched the formal part of the video that I gave you, did you just laugh, Denise, about how puffy those sleeves were, and then the metallic taffeta? So what is in style? What did you pick? If you can kind of describe your dress, what does it look like now? What's in style?
I picked a very poofy dress, and I don't really know how to explain it. It's kind of corseted in the back, and there's flowers all over it. It's
sparkly.
Yeah, very sparkly.
Oh, so it has some sequins? Or
yes.
just kind of like, a little bit of sequins or reflectors in there?
There's like sparkles in the skirt, and when the light hits it, you can see the sparkles.
And
okay.
It's very it's very Cinderella-ish.
Yeah, it's very
It's a very Cinderella, very simple. That was one thing we both agreed upon. She's 16. We don't want her looking 35 with too much of it, because there are that could happen. And so that was just very we were really mindful of that. Let's look your age.
Yeah.
Let's not look like we're 35 or trying to be too over the top. So
yeah, that was very important. They had to be careful in 87 because we had our Madonnas, we had people could have come out with all kinds of crazy formal dresses, in the height of the 80s. And everybody did go, I felt, very conservative, dress all the way down to the floor, across the shoulders. There weren't any dipping necklines. And I don't remember them sort of warning us, but I think all the mothers of all of the contestants all agreed that these girls have wonderful figures, but this is not the time to just kind of show off the figures. Instead, we want a dress that's flattering on their face, on their body, but not clinging to their body. So yeah, it's really interesting to me. Now I don't think there was a single store that everybody from all the pageants around went to. Some people had their dresses made. So it's really interesting to me that it's gotten to the point now that we have kind of a store that is popular for that. Anything else that you picked out? I'd love to hear a story of something, Denise, that you like that she completely hated.
Well, I mean, we're really at the beginning of it. Now, I could tell you some of the dresses that she tried on last week. We were kind of back and forth. But honestly, once we found the dress, that was kind
It
of
was the first dress I picked on.
that she put on.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
the first one I looked at when I picked.
It was interesting. But yes, she started looking at, they also have like interview outfits there. It's kind of like a one-stop shop. You can get your shoes there.
Really?
You can get we're waiting on, we had to, she has very small feet, so we have to wait for the shoes to come in, or thin feet. And you can get your interview outfit there. And the interview outfit, they want you to be obviously professional, somewhat business-like. So it's but we're working on that as well. And I guess maybe the height of the shoes is what she and I are debating on, because it just depends. Like I said, we've never done this. Walking in heels is not normal in every day,
Yeah, but I'm really tall already. So.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, so that's, the height of the shoes. I actually ended up dancing in my talent with high heels. So, I think the other thing I'm interested in is, what is the talent that you're going to do?
Okay. This was like one of the reasons I didn't want to do Miss Fletcher, because I thought I didn't have a talent and I wasn't talented enough. But I am going to do a monologue.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of the other girls are dancing and singing, and that kind of like, it's like, but I really like the monologue I'm going to do, and I think it's really good.
Yeah. Did you watch any of the monologues on the video that I sent over? Yeah. So you can also tell, I think one of the things my mom was really upset with me about is that I didn't have any props. Like, my mom felt like I needed some like backstage, so that you knew that I was in New York, like doing West Side Story. My mom really wanted to do the New York skyline, and she was an interior designer. So I really broke her heart when I was like, Mom, I don't need New York behind me. But there was another person who did a dance, and she was the cat. And she had so many cute little props. And, at one point in dress rehearsal, she kind of got, tied up in the yarn. And we were like, no, like cut the yarn differently so that we don't want anybody to trip and all of that. But she like went in a trash can. She did all kind of cute things. I think the video that you guys saw was one of the dress rehearsals. But my mom afterwards was like, see, I told you should have had more props. And so, that would be my advice to you is, if you're doing a monologue and you're going to be doing something where you answer a telephone and all of that, is that kind of a discussion you guys have had?
We're going to have a prop.
We are going to have a prop. And I actually was already DIYing it, looking at it this morning on YouTube. So yes, we have a prop in mind for the monologue. And also with the monologue, and I know I saw it in the video, the runway, got to use the runway. With the monologue, got to use it, got to get the audience involved. Like I said, we are literally so brand new to this. I mean, I am learning like every day as we're going. We had a big parent meeting where they laid a lot out for you. That was another thing that was really nice. We have 2 new sponsors this year. So they gave us a detailed week by week what we're doing from November to March 1st, which was really nice to have. I was going to say, with the technology, what we did not have back in the day, now they have the group chats. So there's a big group chat for all of them. They also have, I'm sure you're probably familiar with the app Teams, and they have a Miss Fletcher Teams. So that's how their 2 sponsors get all the information to them, like in a heartbeat. So everything is there. I mean, there's no questioning. There's no guessing what's coming next. I mean, it's all very laid out. And like even yesterday, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to dominate the conversation here.
No. This is all very interesting to me because I can tell you, I'll flash this back to 87 and tell you what I got.
Yeah. So, I mean, even like yesterday or the day before on the team, she goes, she came home. She's on Miss Fletcher's Teams chat or the app. They're also, we have to do we do a physical program, right? Well, now they're also going to do a digital program, and that's new. Wow. Yeah. So when you have a link to the program, because also during the actual show, they will have what's called, and I don't know if they did this back then, because I was not in Miss Fletcher, so I do not know. But they're having a People's Choice Award. And so actually in the program, there's like a just a little flyer you pull out, like a little postcard.
It's a VR code this
A
time.
VR code. See, that's something different too. Scan the VR code and vote for the contestant.
Yeah.
Or do it on the digital link. It's all new. It's crazy. So yeah.
Oh, they kind of like incorporated American Idol. Oh my gosh, I can only imagine. So hopefully they still have a Miss Congeniality.
They do.
Okay, because you're talking to 1987 Miss Congeniality. I didn't win much, but I was very proud of winning Miss Congeniality, and we're gonna get to why I won or why I think I won. But I was very proud of that because I didn't place in anything else, and for me, it was really about all the other contestants and hanging out with all the other contestants and getting to know people at my school that I kind of knew, but I didn't really know them that well. But you really start to bond with people. So I'm really glad that you have chat and all of that. What we received was a big booklet. And then, we immediately started working on our dance number. Now, what was interesting about our situation is that the choreographer of the dance, which was, by the way, I felt super complex. Like I look at all the dance moves that your dad had to learn, your husband had to learn, and it was way overcomplicated. But the original studio that created the choreography decided that they didn't have the time to spend with us to teach us the dance. So they asked me to help with teaching the dance. And Denise, I think you were at that studio. It was Polly B originally.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I know you were in the same studio with me. So then I leaned in and for Polly B and I started teaching everybody the dance. And like I mentioned before, it was pretty complex. There was a lot of shifting, but it's not just that. It was the Charleston. There were lifts. There were spins. There were kind of couple dancing, which in the 80s we don't couple dance. 1950s people couple danced and knew how to jitterbug, but 1987 kids, and I don't know what kids do today, but I don't think anybody's jitterbugging these days. So that opening number was really where we spent the majority of our dress rehearsal time. So are you there right now? Have you picked your escort and are you starting to practice those dance numbers?
There's actually no escorts anymore.
Oh, that's the sad part.
They were thinking of bringing it back this year, but they decided not to, I guess. It stopped after COVID. COVID messed up everything.
Oh, no, they need to bring that back, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tell you why they need to bring that back, okay? Because I felt like it really made, well, your dad may say he didn't feel this way, but I felt like the guys really appreciated being a part of it. Like they all kind of were like, "Oh God," like every rehearsal they were like, "Oh no, oh, I hate being here." But then, after they started getting some of the moves and I know there were a few people that were dating within the group. They started to enjoy it, and then we kind of took it to the next level, and I don't know if your dad told you about this, but this is why I probably won Miss Congeniality, is that my parents offered to host an end of the Miss Fletcher pageant party. And this was a party like no other. It's actually my most famous party from high school. And it was because my parents made it so that both boys and girls could spend the night at my house.
Oh,
The only people, right, 1987. I mean, the
forward.
only people that were allowed to come to my party were participants in the pageant, which really put everybody who normally would not be at a party together at a party together. And you couldn't invite like your clique. You couldn't invite your best friends. You couldn't invite your girlfriend or your boyfriend to sort of lean on in an uncomfortable situation where, you're meeting new people. You had to meet new people. If you wanted to come to my party, you had to meet new people. So we are talking about, we had great turnout. We had 23 contestants with 23 escorts. And as I mentioned before, my parents took everyone's keys. Some people were drinking, some people were not drinking. I don't want to, it's too late to prosecute my family. So I will say there was drinking going on, and they took everyone's keys because they didn't want anybody driving. And we just had sleeping bags and bodies all over the floor. And what's even more exciting is, some people drink for the first time at my house. And my children have met some of these people who have run up to me in Target and said, "Oh, by the way, the first time I drank was at your mom's party." So my kids are well aware that I had drinking parties in high school. And so anyways, so we do all this drinking and spending the night together. And the next day was an SAT. An SAT test. So we had alarm clocks set up to go off at 6 o'clock in the morning, set all around the downstairs. So there were pockets of people taking the SAT, and they had an alarm clock right in the center of them. And I just want to say they actually got up after an all night, got up, went and took the test. And one of the guys, took the test and received like a 1400 on his SAT. And
Wow.
guess what? That was not your dad. I don't think you guys are shocked, but yeah, that was not your dad. That was somebody else. But I would just like to say that person received scholarships because of my Miss Fletcher party.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Like I kept them all night. I kept them up all night long, and they got a 1400 and probably got like an awesome scholarship. But it was a great party because afterwards, all those people remained friends. And, all of that leading up to it, we all felt like at the very end of the night, rather than, going out to dinner all separately with our parents, we all wanted to go one place. And our only choices were kind of like Famous Amos, right? Because Famous Amos used to stay open 24 hours. That was a big place for people after dance recitals to go to, because it was like the only place open in town that you could get food really late at night. And, 40 people going into Famous Amos after Miss Fletcher was going to be a little much for Famous Amos. So that's when my parents were like, okay. And I told them, it's one opportunity where I can get all of these people invited and not have it get completely out of control with them inviting four more and two more and three more. And so that's why my parents agreed, but they did have a lock for everyone's keys. So very fun party. I'm putting it out there, Denise, you don't have to do a sleepover. And now if this is only girls, it seems like, that's a little bit easier and a little less risk if you want these sleeping bags all over your floor. But my parents enjoyed it. They came downstairs and actually partied with everybody for a little while. And then I remember one time, I guess my mom thought people were still up, and she came downstairs and said, "Okay, that's enough." And it's like everybody was sleeping. We were like, "Who is she yelling at?" Like we didn't even know. We didn't even know who was making noise. Everybody was completely passed out. So so just an idea, Denise. I don't know what you think about that. I don't know. Reed was at that party. He knows it was pretty epic. So, if you want to have that party, you might be that person. And then, of course, that's, I think that gets you an automatic like Miss Congeniality, just so you know. So which part of it are you looking forward to the most?
Probably meeting new people and people I wouldn't have talked to ever. So a lot of the girls I've never talked to because they're in like different groups and different like classes than I am in. And so excited about that.
Now you did mention you do have an opening number, so you still have to do a dance.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It's to Michael Jackson's Remember the Time. Yeah, is that what it's called?
Yeah, Remember the Time,
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Remember the Time. Have you seen the choreography yet?
We don't start practices until January 23rd.
Yes.
Okay. You're a dancer. Are you
I
going
know.
to help her? Are you going to learn the routine?
Well, I can tell you, here's the funny part. So parents aren't allowed like anywhere near.
Yeah, 2 moms fought last year.
Oh no. Oh no, pageant moms, crazy. Crazy pageant moms. Oh no. We didn't have any of that. That
So yeah,
really.
that's before our time. We don't know
So,
who,
yeah,
how, or
parents
what.
aren't-
We
yeah.
don't know. We don't know.
Parents are not allowed backstage during the show
or the rehearsals.
or the
so that's why.
rehearsals.
So they have like 2 times a week, and the only time the parents are allowed is at dress rehearsal.
To help you in your dress. That's literally it.
But like they start the rehearsals, and then all of them are responsible for signing up for bringing snacks, bringing water to the rehearsals, because they start like right after school, and they'll go 2 to 3 hours twice a week.
Right.
For
Yeah.
8 weeks.
Yeah. I do recall that ours was twice a week. And if you guys watched the video, it was a long song. Like, and I think the song that you're talking about is also a long song. It sounds like your choreography is going to be a little slower pace than what you saw your dad do.
Right.
So it's like 4 minutes.
Yeah,
that's a long song.
They have to get like certain shoes for that, probably like jazz shoes.
Yeah.
We're gonna look at like dance shoes for that, and black leggings. We don't know the top yet.
Yeah, they provide the top.
They provide the top, and then we provide the bottom. So yes, so that's another outfit.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, so what did you guys think of the horrible outfit that I wore?
Very 80s. Very 80s.
It was so 80s. I mean, why did they pick the bottoms that I swear look like diapers? That was so random. Like, if we were going to look like little sailors or little, I don't know really what they were going for with that outfit. I will post a picture to all my listeners, with this podcast of this outfit. I will do that so everybody can make fun of me. I'm also very proud because back then I was 110 pounds. I mean, I'm going to take a picture of that just because, hey, I was 110 pounds and I'm wearing this little sailor diaper thing. And, I showed the video to my husband and he was like, woo, look at those legs. And I'm like, okay, all right. I'm glad you're not focused on the baggy diaper sailor outfit. And then, and we didn't have a choice. The boys luckily did not have to wear anything goofy. They just wore white shirts and black pants. So they looked fine, but the rest of us were dressed up as sailor diaper girls. And so if you haven't seen your outfit yet, are you worried that the same person's going to pick out something like that for you?
We haven't seen the outfits yet, but last year outfits were really good, so I'm hoping it's good this year.
Okay. So what were last year's outfits, if you could describe them?
It was like a sparkly pink top. It was really good. But
with like black leggings and the black and the black shoes.
Yeah. And now I think if you noticed during the talent competition that in 1987 unitards were a big thing. The whole unitard thing was a big thing, and that had just come out. So it was fairly shocking when the girls hit the stage and they were wearing this very tight, very form-fitting unitard. And at one point they wanted them to put shorts over them, but there were a couple of people that their outfits, just didn't go well with these sort of jazz shorts over them. So they got a pass. But I think the next year they ruled out these very tight, very form-fitting unitards. And I am sure you recall there was one dance that was kind of a modern style, and she had a unitard on, and it was kind of this modern dance. And now when your mom and I were dancing, there were really kind of 3 types of dance. It was, it was jazz, it was tap, and it was ballet. There wasn't this lyrical, and certainly modern was not very mainstream. And then you had hip hop. So, you had a choice of either break dancing, tap dancing, jazz, or formal ballet. And when you look at the talents in 1987, we pretty much covered that. In fact, one of the girls in the ballet outfit, she was in the Florida Ballet, and she did win the talent competition. The other thing is, you know, the monologue ones, contestant Buffy Davis, she was the one that was working the runway, like you mentioned. She actually went on to win the most funniest person in our high school. So I didn't know if you could hear her monologue very well because the sound wasn't really good. And I don't know. Reed and I still can't even recall which one of our family members had a video camera because neither one of us had the video camera. We don't know who was doing this recording, but they didn't do a great job with collecting the sound. Buffy was really a little shout out to her. She was her monologue was really good. And
She stood out to me. Like, I could hear it well, and I think she did really good
oh, you
on
could.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm sure she'd be so happy to hear that. I think she might have come, like, in 2nd place, so that just kinda shows you that it doesn't have to be all, piano and music and singing. Sometimes I've gone to a pageant where it was almost 100% singing, and that's really tough, for people to, compare that. And then the modern dance compared to, like, tap dance is sort of, apples to oranges.
You did have a reaction to the unitards. What did you?
Okay, we're not allowed to wear those anymore. You have to wear a skirt over them now.
Or something, yeah.
Or something over them. They told us specifically not to wear.
Yeah, in the parents' meeting, they were specific. If you are doing a dance, it had better not be see-through. It had better not be short. You need to cover yourself. They were very adamant about that. Just FYI. It's probably because
Yeah. Well, I'm always glad when a rule gets made after me.
Yeah.
And I'm always very proud when a rule gets made because of me. So, okay, so what is left on the prep as we start to wrap this up? What do you have left to do?
I have to get my talent outfit. I have to write my platform statement.
That's a big thing. The platform. Tell her about that.
Oh, what is that? That's new.
You have to kind of like explain what you want to do in the community, what you're interested in, what you want to be when you're older, your favorite things. They're going to talk about that. And
yeah, the platform's actually like, like you have to write an essay about what your platform is. So
wow.
Yes. Then that's a big portion. So they take information from your platform from what you wrote in the interview. So you're going to get asked about what you wrote in the interview, along with, of course, other stuff.
Yeah.
And did y'all have the question? I don't know that you did. You had like asked a question on the stage and then you had to answer it like right at the moment. Did y'all have that?
No, we didn't have that, and I think that's probably because we spent a lot of time on sort of the sportswear, and then we had to, go back and change again. Instead, you'll notice that we just did those initial introductions right after the opening number, and I think that was the last time we sort of talked on the microphone. The interview, I would say we kind of did a similar thing, but our statements weren't read. Are you going to be reading your statements, or the statements just go to your interviewers?
Just go to your interviewers and the judges.
Right. So,
okay. Are they published anywhere? Are they going to publish them like with your pictures?
I don't think so.
No. Y'all had a 2-night affair, right? You did it over 2 nights?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So this is 1 night. It's only 1 night. So like the day before the pageant, that's when she has her interview with the judges, like the day before. And then the whole competition is just it's the 1 night. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's a lot to get in. I forgot how I guess again, taking that sportswear out, I guess that's how they've consolidated it. The other thing I'd like to say that my mom, I think she was allowed in the dressing room, but a lot of the moms decided to stay out because the contestants became so close that we were all doing such a good job of, like, if somebody did hair better, everybody was like, "Can you do my hair? Can you help me with my makeup?" There were some people that, normally didn't wear makeup, so they were looking for the other contestants to sort of help them out. And so there was a lot of camaraderie in the dressing room. There also, just so you know, Denise, were a lot of flowers. And so we were constantly getting delivery of flowers, and we were running out of room in the dressing room with these huge bouquets of flowers, and it was super sweet. I think Reed's parents got me flowers. I don't think that was Reed's idea. I think Reed's parents got me flowers. So I had some of those flowers, and we were all like, at the end of the night, everybody, if there wasn't a card, everybody was like, "Oh, just I think that's mine. You take this one, you take that one." We had like a whole area. So just something to be mindful there, that flowers will come in from all kinds of people. They'll come in from your club, they'll come in from your friends. And so it becomes a massive pile, and that space starts to fill up. So that's something you have to look forward to, all of that. And then afterwards, like I said, there's a little bit of you've built up to this one night, and then at the end, you're kind of like, I don't want this to end. And I imagine that's how some people may feel about, state or national pageants. And so there is this sort of big buildup. And then afterwards, you're like, how do we kind of keep this camaraderie going? And now with technology and everybody having, a nice Teams room and these chats and everything, I feel like you guys can sustain it a little more than, maybe I could back in the low tech days.
Yeah, probably it's easier because I have a class with a lot of the girls and I have their phone numbers and the Teams page, and that's really helpful.
I tell you, the other nice part is that the contestants from last year are involved with this year. So they help out as well. So like the MC for the pageant is Miss Fletcher from last year. It's also like the first runner up from last year. So they are so it's great because they're there and they're knowledgeable, and they can help, the girls that are doing it this year. So it kind of continues on, which is good because they have the
Yeah.
experience. Yes. And then you asked about like what happens afterwards. It's just so funny you mentioned that because, of course, the winner goes on to like Miss Duval County, right? For the,
Miss High School.
For the Miss High School, Duval High School, whatever. But then like the first runner up, which I didn't,
Miss Sweetheart,
is the high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
She participates in something as well. And as a matter of fact, that contest is tonight for the high school, for the first runner ups for all the county. I mean, who knew?
Oh,
yeah,
that's nice.
We're learning a lot. Yes. So which is interesting. And like for the, like one of the requirements, you have to wear the same dress that you wore in your pageant that that you placed in. So there's no like, you don't have to go out and buy a new dress. You don't have to, but Renee, tell her why. I mean, the biggest reason that you're doing this is why. We're not looking to like,
well, I'm doing it for the experiment. I'm not really wanting to win. Like, I don't think I'm going to win. I mean, no, but I'm trying to get out of my shell and learn how to like talk to people, and just for the experience and just to learn how to talk, and
it's a confidence builder.
Confidence builder.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really, I'm telling you, I'm proud of you for being on this podcast. When I asked your dad, and your dad is super proud of you. So when you accepted it, or you said you were doing it, he called me and he's like, "My daughter's doing Miss Fletcher. What does she need to know? Please help me. Do you have the old tapes? Do you have anything? Do you have any advice?" And I am obviously a very extroverted person, and he mentioned to me that you were shy, and I said, "Well, you know what? Let's start with a podcast. Let's get her, used to talking near a microphone on a podcast." And I wanted to hear all about it. And then, of course, moms go through this journey too. And so, you don't entirely go through this alone. Your mom's got, your mom secretly, we're competitive people, parents, right?
I know.
I mean, we want our kids to win. And when I won, when I won Miss Congeniality, my mom was like, "She won Miss Congeniality." Well, Miss Congeniality doesn't go anywhere. we don't participate in anything else. Me and a bunch of Miss Congeniality people don't, end up competing to be Miss Congeniality Duval County. But my mom was really, she was proud of that in her own way, in the sense that, I stepped in for the, teaching of choreography. And then, my parents became the cool parents that, had the party. And lots of people remember, seeing my parents drink at my at my party. So that kind of stayed with them. And then, getting the results back, that everybody successfully, lots of parents were very concerned. The party was going to get out of control and their kids were not going to make it to the SAT. And we achieved that goal. We got them to the SAT, and then they had really awesome scores. So my mom was like, good job, right? There has been, do you remember, Denise, Leanza Cornett? Do you remember that name?
Yeah, Miss America, for sure.
Miss America.
Right?
So Miss America actually came from Jacksonville. Yeah. And she won which high school pageant for that? Was it Bishop Kenny?
I think it was one of the private schools. Yeah. I mean, it was like 19.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember she got like Miss Florida. I remember it was like 1993. I don't know why I remember, but I do. I mean, totally. We were like, wow, that was huge.
Yeah. So shout out to Leanza Cornett. And then I believe she went on and she did some talk shows and, and went on into kind of the entertainment business. So guess what, Renee, you are really going to be coming out of your shell. Before you know it, you could be, hosting your own podcast. You could be, talking about your platform. You could be competing in Miss Duval County. You could make it to Miss Florida. And, then, Miss America is just a step away. And then, of course, you got to go to Miss Universe. So yeah. No pressure whatsoever, right? No pressure at all. Well, any last comments about the 1987 version of Miss Fletcher and your dad? you would like to say about some observations of the laughter? Was there laughter in your house?
Definitely laughter. It was really funny. I've never seen my dad dance before.
And so, yeah. Denise, are you gonna learn the routine where you kind of jump on? You jump and then he lifts you up in the air. Is this going to be kind of like a couples routine that you guys are going to learn? And
why not? I don't think you could do it though. I don't think you could do it anymore.
Well, Renee, this is what, your junior year. So you only, Denise, you're almost home free. You've got one more year to go before the nest is empty. Well, I wish you the best of luck. If any questions that you want to ask a former contestant that unfortunately, very much lost, but hey.
She's going in this, and we're going, when we discussed it, we're like, what's the reason you want to go into it? And, again, it's because, again, we're so new to it. It's just the confidence builder, the experience of it all, just to go through it. And I think it's a great experience you agree? I mean,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I would never have done this like 2 years ago. No.
I mean,
that's incredible.
Yeah. After COVID and everything, and again, I think even if you told me 6 months ago she was going to do this, I'd been like, no, you're this, are you crazy? But she, so she's doing it. And the more we get into it, I feel like the more she's, fired up about it.
I'm a little competitive now. Like, I mean, deep down, I kind of want to win.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, hey, there's no shame in saying that. Believe me, there's no shame in saying, hey, I'm in a competition. So yeah, it'd be kind of nice if I could go on to Miss Duval or Miss Florida. Absolutely. And so, and you just never know. It is very subjective. So you just kind of never know what the judges are going to do. And you don't know how everybody does on their interviews. And you don't know how, how is the modeling? Like, how do they judge modeling? Nobody really knew how they were coming up with those scores. I think what I find really interesting, and what I really want to have a follow-up with you after this is all said and done. But what I find interesting is that kind of American Idol component of it, where, people can vote for the people's choice. I would have thought that would have also sort of taken some of that subjectiveness away from the judges and, put it out to the people that are watching that, as you mentioned, when you listen to Buffy's monologue, you really liked it. And so luckily the judges did score her pretty high on that, at least I believe they did. But if we would have had the people's choice, she might have won over the ballet. The scores, I don't know if they're being factored in, but she might have won the people's choice for the talent. So want to hear more about that. You guys have my number, of course. I know that your dad is going to record it. And so hopefully I'll be able to see how you do and everything. And so
Well,
we've got to follow up. We've got to do some, bonus material. Please send that over to me because as I mentioned, we are international and some people don't even know what is this American tradition of high school pageantry. Maybe they have that kind of stuff in England. I don't think they have that I'm aware of in Italy. So people are curious, like, what's this all about? But it's a confidence booster and you're going to enjoy it and meet some great people. And Denise, going through it with your daughter, you really just make me miss my mom so much because she was so great during that time. And you guys have really brought me back to that. So thank you so much for